I just looked up to the sky and I'm like, really? The second one, you're gonna do this to me? And that was hard. Think about it now. I mean, now there's a lot more known about autism than there was 17 years ago. It was darkness. Your heart and your mind, your soul, just fear. I made a shift. We were looking at a new insurance. 1 year, Connie, between Angel and Gabriel, had 300 doctor's visits a year. No, we take care of it. We are in charge of it. And we have God behind us. And when we started the school, we got on our knees and we prayed. And we said, Lord, we will never turn away a child for money, ever. We haven't missed one mortgage payment. We haven't missed one payroll.
I like to call those moments God kisses. It's those serendipitous, coincidental moments that are too good to not be God.
That's like a big thing. The only thing we do, we respect these kids. And we treat them like everyone else, and that's all they want, respect.
So it's God's will plus action is the key.
Because faith without works is dead.
Now, what stops water, Gregory? There's nothing.
Welcome to The Greater Journey, where we skip the highlight reel and dive straight into the hard parts that make you who you are. I'm your host, Gregory Rutledge, author of From Waiter to Greater and creator of the Greater Framework. Every episode, I sit down with leaders, creatives, and entrepreneurs so that we can unpack the setbacks, the doubts, and the divine detours that shape their success. Because becoming greater isn't about perfection, guys, it's about transformation. So we're going to get into it. I'm sorry. That part needs a moment of silence. I love it. So today on The Greater Journey, we're talking about faith in action. Connie and Angel Rodriguez, they didn't just pray for change, they built it. Inspired by their son's autism journey, they founded Waterfall Academy, a school that's now transforming the lives of dozens of children and families through faith, education, and love in motion. This is not a story about parenting or perseverance. It's about the purpose that overflows. So let's get into the journey of how heartbreak can become healing and how one family's mission became a movement. But the first question I want to ask, let's start at the beginning, because this goes right along with the G and the Greater Framework, which is grounded in your unique story. So we're going to start at the beginning, before Waterfall Academy, before the mission. What was life like for your family when you first started navigating your son's autism journey?
I'll let you start.
Okay. Well, I was an executive at PepsiCo.
Oh, wow.
Connie and I we'd been married, Mom? 10 years at the time?
No, we're not talking.
We were married 10 years when Angel was born.
Mm.
And Angel's 20 now, so we'll be married 30 years in December.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So at that time, we were new parents. I was an executive traveling quite a bit, doing well. Connie was an interior designer, and that was going well. And then Angel was what, three? Three when we started noticing some things early on. And I remember we were in bed and we're just lying down, and I was on my computer and we were talking about Angel, and I just started looking up some of the behavior that pointed us to autism. And I'll never forget how I felt when I looked it up and I saw, wow, wait, this is possibly what's going on. And then we took him to get assessed, and the assessment came out. And so it was, it was a blow. You don't really expect that.
Right.
But, we got to retrench and do our thing. And then Gabriel, so, Angel went to school that supported him on his journey, and we were supportive of the school, very supportive of the school. Along the way, we had Gabriel, who's our youngest boy, and he's 17 now. But Angel was, when he was diagnosed, Gabriel had just been pretty much born.
That was probably
and then when we started seeing some things in Gabriel as well, we didn't really need to go get that assessment, right? Because we saw it. And And that where the first one was, at least for me, and Connie could chime in, please. But
Yeah.
for me, the first one was, it was just a ton of bricks. It was like boulders on me and our family and on Connie and on us. We really think about it now. I mean, now there's a lot more known about autism than there was 17 years ago. It was very opaque. It was darkness in your heart, in your mind, your soul, just fear. When Gabriel was assessed, it was more, I just looked up to the sky and I'm like, really? Really? The second one. You're going to do this to me. And that was hard. The first one hurt because it was unexpected. The second one hurt because I was more just angry that really this had to be our baby.
Yeah.
And we had been hoping that Gabriel would be the one to take care of Angel, right?
Right.
Like take care of your big bro. When that was kind of in our lens, and now the reality for us, the cold reality was that they both were autistic and they both had their own separate set of challenges, and they both had different ways to mollify their condition, different therapies and such. But it was hard. I mean, a lot of years of not knowing what the heck we're gonna do, just
Being lost.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, you've never heard of therapies before. I mean, I had heard of, speech and physical therapy, but I didn't know what occupational therapy was. And for children under the spectrum, that's like a must-have therapy. Yeah. And so then I got to learn about behavior, but it can be overwhelming in the beginning. Yeah. Because everything comes at you, and then, like Angel, when they're 24 months, that's when they get the MMR. He was one that after the vaccine, like his autoimmune went down, and then he became like super, super high. I mean, real hyper. And I remember going to the pediatric and telling her, is he having ADHD? Because he would turn a room around in seconds. I used to collect like the VHS. He would take every single one off the shelf. And then I would put everything up. I would go back a minute later and he would do it again. So I knew something was wrong. Yeah. And so I go on to the pediatric and she would say, Mom, this is a terrible twos. But I'm like, it never stops. He's going to have a heart attack. I always had the questions, until he got diagnosed.
And speaking of therapies, I know this is about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I made a shift and we were looking at a new insurance. 1 year, Connie, between Angel and Gabriel, had 300 doctor's visits a year.
Wow.
300 for the two of them.
Wow.
So
what was therapies?
Therapies and all that, doctors and therapies, and so that was a financial burden for us. It hit us hard. Savings and retirement stuff. We just gotta live for our boys. Everything was moved to whatever's best for them. All our thoughts, all our heart, all our intention, anything. And so it was an emotional toll. It has been over the years. It's gotten better now. Yeah. But for a while, it was really hard. And it was, nobody plans for it, right? Heck, right? And, but there were some signs, and you mentioned faith earlier. There were some signs along the way. Like, Mom, maybe you could talk about this, but there was Angel had an eating disorder.
Oh, wow.
And Connie was just across town, right? Where were you, down in Fort Worth?
Well, I was like an hour away from home, but we had gone to a facility for eating. He was on a bottle to 4.5. And in the beginning, I think it was like a year he would eat. And then by 12 months or maybe during the MMR, he stopped eating. And it was he would only drink a bottle. That was it. And the pediatric would tell me, take the bottle away. I would do it and he wouldn't drink or eat anything. So I would finally give up.
Yeah.
And so we were always searching for, for answers for that. Why isn't he eating?
Yeah.
And then one day they told me about a grocery store that's like an hour away. And I'm there talking to my friend on the phone. And she's telling me, well, look for this, look for that. And there was a lady that was at the shopping center with me. And so when I got off the phone,
a stranger,
yeah, and she comes up to me and she's like, I heard you talking on the phone that your son is not eating. And she told me her story. She said, my son has autism and all he would eat was baby food and yogurt. She said, but we found an excellent therapist in Plano that she changed our lives. So she gave me her number, and she was probably like a mile from our house. We would pass through there daily. And so when we found that lady, we did we started seeing her first speech, and we did her feeding therapy. And in 8 months, he started eating. It was hard, but she did explain to me that his case was sensory related.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to move his tongue, so that would gag him, and that's why he wouldn't eat.
That makes so much sense.
Think about it, Gregory. Think about this. Like, our faith, right? She's all the way. Like, we live in Parker, Texas.
Yeah.
Near Allen and all that. Near Plano.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way over there, an hour and change away, she bumps into a lady in the aisle who happened to be hearing her. And the therapist who changed our life, God rest her soul. Sally, we miss you.
Wow.
By the way, think about that.
I like to call those moments God kisses. It's those serendipitous, coincidental moments that are too good to not be God. And
I like that. Too good to not be God.
Yeah, our lives, if you really think about it and look at it through the lens of gratitude and thankfulness to what God does and who he is and always has been and always will be. It's those strings of events that end up making our lives. And if we really look back on all of the things that happen, they didn't happen to us. They happened for us in a way that we could not have planned. And I think he has it that way so that only he could take the glory. Right. And it's, you mentioned that, it's just the terrible twos. It's just kids. Yeah. Nobody plans for kids. There's no instruction manual to tell you how to raise kids. But, as I mentioned before we started, I was with a lady for 4 years who had an autistic son, and it is all but like completely all encompassing, like everything that you have, you're giving it 24/7. There is no break. It's like having kids on steroids.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate test.
It's a turbocharge.
Yeah. Yes. And children, just normal, whatever that is, are already a lot. But then you get the special blend of children that just see the world differently than we do, right? Yeah. They experience it differently. You mentioned sensory, and that's why I said I feel like a lot of us are on the spectrum where we don't even realize it because, we just see it as quirks, or, I just don't like those things that way, or I just don't like things of that texture. But it's like everything they have is amplified. All the feelings, all the sensory, everything is just amplified. And I think it's beautiful that, one, your story is amazing, right? It shows just the way that you can change something that could have been bad into something that has been good for everyone that crosses your path. And that kind of leads into the next letter in the framework, which is reframing limiting beliefs. Mm. Now, you could have stopped at being parents and advocates, but you reframe that challenge into a calling. So I have to ask, what belief had to change for you to see this as purpose rather than punishment?
I would say we had my oldest son in private school. And we were very happy. We imagined him graduating from there. And when they moved to a different location, it didn't work out for us. So never did I imagine that we were going to start a school. I had hired a teacher to tutor him, But hearing all these stories, I had therapists that would call me and they would tell me, I have a family in my office. They have an 11-year-old son that has never been to school and he needs a school. Is there any way you can help them? And I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not in education. So what are we supposed to do? But being a parent that could not find a school for my son, I was forced to take that avenue. So when I started getting the calls, we're like, okay, let's put a team together and start a school. There's a need for these schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if God would have it, like, so around this time, first, one of the beliefs we had to get through is, well, let me tell this. I'll tell the story. No, it'll get to the belief. And so, I was doing all kinds of roles. I was consulting, just making it happen, making money for the family and keep us going. I had an assignment in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I was heading home. This was my last trip home. And I sat next to this gentleman. I'll meet him in heaven again. Me and him. We sat together for 14 hours. When I first met him, remember the guy I told you about? He was a mean guy. Wouldn't talk to anybody. But at the end of 14 hours, we were like best friends, And he's an older gentleman, and he worked for the federal government. And so we're talking about the kids and our family, and I told him about Connie and the boys, and what we're trying to do, and we're thinking about doing this thing. And as we're getting off, he stops, and we're all getting our stuff after 14 hours. He grabs my hand, he looks me in the eye, and he says, son, I'll tell you, whatever you do, take charge of the future of your children. Don't let the government do that.
Wow.
I came home, Connie and I, as you mentioned, we talked. I happened to have bought a building with a guy, and the tenants left. Again, right? What was your saying that you said? God kisses. God kisses. The tenants left, and my side of the building was empty. We're like, what are we gonna do? And that's what she says. I'm gonna homeschool him, and some people are calling me. And I go, well, let's just do it here in the school. So we had this 4,000 square foot space for 2 kids to start with. 2 kids. Wow. And a teacher, and Connie. And I mean, she'll very much will be humble about it, but she put the school on her shoulders and made it happen. And it just so the belief was, someone else, we're going to rely on someone else to take care of our kids. No, we take care of it. We are in charge, and we have God behind us. Let's go. And when we started the school, we got on our knees and we prayed. And I said, Lord, we will never turn away a child for money. Ever. Wow. But you got to help us out. So in 8 years now, Remo, 8 years, we haven't missed one mortgage payment. We bought the whole building. We haven't missed one mortgage payment. We haven't missed one payroll. And was one time we almost missed a payroll, and 2 days before we got a check from a friend of mine in Oklahoma that I hadn't talked to in a long time. And so, and it's amazing. And Connie and I talk about this all the time. When you tell somebody, pay what you can, which is what we tell. She tells parents, pay what you can. And they usually pay more than you would think, right? They find a way. Yeah. And so that's another belief, break the paradigm. Trust in the goodness of people and in the love of God.
Amen. Yeah, man, that gratitude speaks with service, right? And if you give someone an opportunity up front, typically their gratitude is going to speak in volumes.
Boundless.
Way more than what you could have charged or thought it would be worth. I have a similar story to when I used to rap and wanted to sell my CDs. I would try to sell my CD at $5, $7, $10, and I would just tell people, buy it. Trust me, I'm good. But when I started walking around with the CD player and headphones, I would let people listen to the song. And by the third verse, they were in tears and they were ready to give me $20, $40, $100 for the same CD. Yeah. And I was just like, what is happening here? Yeah. But when you trust God and you do good, with no expectation in return, it's like the floodgates open.
That's it. I would love for Connie to talk about the parents, Mom, though. What they say about the school. And,
Well, in our school, we have from all sides of the spectrum. We have one class where the children are a little more severe. They come from ABA schools, and some of the parents come and visit, and they'll tell us, well, the therapist tells us that my child is not ready for school. And I'll tell them, usually that's, you want to get them in a routine as early as possible. So we get them started, and they do great. And then you start seeing them blossom. You see them that they start talking. We have another class that we call the no filter room. And in that class, these kids are very high function. Some are, some of them are Asperger. They're a lot like Albert Einstein. Very smart. The only thing is they don't have a filter. And that is very dangerous because they look neurotypical. So if you see them out in public, they're going to tell you something. And if you're around the wrong person, they can hurt you. So we have this one family, they started last year. And every year we have a Friendsgiving where all the families bring a dish and we get together because we want them to get to know each other and also know that they're not alone. There's other people out there like you. So anyways, when I got to his classroom, I called the parents and I said, are you guys coming? And the grandma's like, oh no, we can't go. And we're not going to send him to school that day. And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, he doesn't know how to act around people. And I told her, well, you need to come because here everyone's living the same thing in different ways. So if anyone's going to understand you, it's going to be the family from Waterfall Academy. And we know that if you come here, it's because it's for a reason. And we're here to support you. You're not alone. And that's one thing that they are very grateful because the grandma's older and she's worried, what's going to happen to him when I'm not around.
Now he's class president, right?
Yeah, now he's our class president.
Yeah. And yesterday he was helping another guy on his computer. I'm helping him. Oh, yeah, well, you're the president. That's what presidents do. He's like, yes, sir. Yes. It's a reframing.
Yeah.
And she's way. And again, I'm kind of like her hype man. You probably can tell. Like I'm like going back to the rap game. Like I'm Flavor Flav for her. I'm Flavor Flav. But we had a session this week with an external consultant that we brought on board to kind of get us ready for the next stage of growth, right? So we're thinking differently about it. And anyway, that person, as part of this next stage of growth view, she had a call with a group of parents last week. And the parents talked about the school, and they specifically about Connie. One of the parents said, she helps me be a better parent.
That's good.
And we don't do it like in a judgment. We don't, man, because look, we walked on these paths. Like I talk to the dads. I have dads cry to me. I mean, we talk like, hey man, I know what's up. I know what it is. I tell people like, I go to bed at night with fear in my heart, but I got to wake up with a smile on my face. Because we got to think through what's going to happen to our kids when we're gone. So we're building all this infrastructure to help them and help other families. Think about it, Gregory. We built our own ecosystem. So like our youngest, we haven't talked about him too much, Gabriel. He's a little more of a challenge, but he's a love. He's a big teddy bear. But he's 6 foot, 3+, big guy.
Wow.
And but for the first time, we asked him, hey, who's your best friend? And he had a best friend. He's 17. You see, so things that other parents, I guess neurotypical is the phraseology now, whatever, right? But like, hey, a best friend's a big deal. Hearing your child talk and converse with you and have a conversation with you is a huge deal. So I would encourage parents of kids that perhaps don't have the challenges our boys and the kids in our school face, like embrace those moments. Like Embrace that conversation. Be thankful to the Lord that you can speak to your child. I remember we used to pray all the time for Angel to talk. And now he's a jabberjaw, well, not, but I never say, oh, I was like, okay, God, I asked you for it. Thank you, Lord, because, you got to be thankful for what you have and aspire for as much as the Lord wants to give you, and we talk about when we're in heaven, I want him to look at us, and say, what did you do with what we gave you? What I gave you? Son, I gave you this. I gave you this family. I gave you this wife. What'd you do?
Wow.
And I want him to say, I did well. And I think if a lot of us think about that future state, like when we're up there in front of the Father, it'll help drive how we live.
Yeah.
And who we impact while we live.
So that we can all hear that, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Exactly right.
Man, that is so beautiful. Like the reframe is so powerful. And I feel like it goes back to a state of gratitude. Like you said, be thankful in the Lord that, it could have been way worse, right? And to hear a child that struggles say they have a best friend, like I don't know about y'all, I struggled having best friends because there's been a lot of moving and trauma associated with just being ripped out of your surroundings. And so it's almost like you create this wall of I'm going to sabotage everything before it's sabotaged for me. And it becomes this habit. But y'all created a school out of this with 2 children and 4,000 square feet and hope and a prayer, right? And things just ended up working out between the 14-hour flight, the random person in the aisle miles away from home. Is it really random? Is it really a coincidence? I think not. And we're going to move on to the next letter of the framework, which is embracing continuous learning, which is exactly what y'all are doing. You didn't have a manual for this. So I want to ask, how did you learn what your sons and later your students truly needed beyond what the system could provide?
Yeah, you're the best at that.
Well, I guess, I'm an interior designer, so I'm used to fixing the problem. If they give me a piece of furniture, I have to make it fit or work with the room. So what I learned with the school and the students, I like to pair them where they're going to blossom. And that's what makes a big difference. Like I said, we have a no filter room. And with them, we teach them how to write it down instead of saying it out loud, because they have every right to ask questions. The only thing is we teach them what's the proper way that's going to keep you safe, because you're safe in here, but you could be out in the real world and you might be with someone that has no idea what autism is. So we work with them. And then we have some that like being loud. So we make a room for the ones that are loud, and it's okay because they're used to the noise. And then we have some that are a little more, they don't like noises. So I like to pair them where they're going to blossom. And that's what makes a big difference. That's what makes a big difference about our school. Yes. And we, when we have an opening, we don't turn away anyone for money. The only thing is the child that's coming in has to be the right fit for the classroom. Because we don't want our students to regress. And then it's not fair to the child that's coming in if he's not the right candidate for that room, because then he's not going to be comfortable. Because these kids can feel your energy. They know if you're afraid of them. They know if you don't like them, they can feel your energy. And I see it. And I always tell the parents, when they're acting like that, you need to see who they're around, because something is not there. And even with our teachers, I know what student to put with what teacher. And that's what makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah, she plays a
We have amazing stories.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents,
so tell them
we've changed a lot of lives.
You're about Esau's story. I'm going to tell about how he first spoke. We had this little boy named Esau.
Yeah.
And he's a Muslim boy. And he's our baby. He's been with us for maybe like year 2, maybe 5 years now.
Yeah, like 7 years.
He's so amazing. So we had he came to us and wasn't speaking, and we had said, hey, he's going to speak here. He's going to speak here. We prayed on it. Lord, he's going to speak here. He's going to speak here. And we have a great partnership with UTD, by the way. We love UTD. 60 plus interns have been with us in these 8 years. And one of them, his name just happened to be Muhammad. And walking on in the hallway, walks by Isa, and Isa looks up to him and says, hi, Muhammad. And keeps going. Those were his first words.
Wow.
Think about it.
Wow.
Being wired like you're wired, I know how to
Yeah.
take it. Yeah. And so, like, and that can only happen in an environment of love. And again, she's soft selling it, right? Because she lives it every day. But, like, you know, if you ever come visit us, you will see there's just love. And the teachers love the kids. She loves the teachers. The teachers love her. The students love the environment. I see a kid in the hallway and be like, hey, do you love your school? Yes, I love my school. Well, we love you. You know, we love you is probably the most, or I love you, or we love you is probably the most said statement throughout the day to these kids, because they need to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like the Pied Piper in that place. Like, everybody come. You know, I mean, when there's a problem, it's like she'll go up to one and be like, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they're all, but they also, when the holidays are coming, and we're going to be off for Christmas, a lot of them start getting very emotional. We do see an increase in behavior only because they know that we're going to be out of school for 2 weeks, and they love coming to school. And that's one thing that the parents see now. They're happy about coming to school versus before. It was always we had to drag them out, or it was just very hard to get them to school. And a lot of them have homeschool for years because their child they won't leave the house. And now they're coming to the school and they're able to, be out of the house.
Tell them how we help them in worship too. These kids.
Oh, we do Wednesday worship, and we teach, the small ones, because we're Catholic. And I've talked to the priest before, and I've told him, hey, I want to come to church, but it's real hard with my kids because they have autism. And he told me, well, we have the kids' room. And I tell him that our kids don't like babies crying. How am I going to be there with my son if he can't tolerate the crying? But they don't get it. So then I told my husband, we need to do worship day so we can teach them how to be able to sit at Sunday service, or sit at a graduation, or sit at a special moment, and the parents will be able to take them. Because there's some parents that have never taken their kids to the movies because they're always afraid that they're gonna, make someone else uncomfortable. And I tell them, no, your child has every right to go to the movies. You just gotta help him be able to tolerate it. You might need to put those noise cancellation cell phones. You need to take fidgets,
Headphones, yeah.
whatever they need to be able to, especially if it's something new, you got to be able to do accommodations. And I always tell them they have every right to be in this world like anyone else.
And the kids,
absolutely.
like they're in worship, they sing, and they actually script it out too. They talk about what they want to talk about, or they lay out what they want to talk about. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
It's so beautiful, and I thought about this. I was asking my wife to close the window because you can hear every car going by. So let me actually do that real quick.
That's our clothes.
Yes.
Yes, man.
Okay. Yeah, you open the windows when it gets cold in Texas because you don't get that often.
Yeah. Right.
So I've always thought about this. What would it be like if there was, more understanding, not just for autistic kids, but for people in general, right? There needs to be more love, period. It's not just about the special needs, although that's where I think God puts those kind of people in our lives to teach us empathy, to teach us compassion. But what would it be like if there was a world that was built around what actually lit people up? and we figured out what made them tick. Instead of putting them in these boxes and judging monkeys by how they swim and fish by how they climb trees, we actually did an assessment to find out, like, what is this person's superpower and how can we build a life for them to be who they were meant to be instead of trying to make them be something they're not. Right. And y'all are literally doing this.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking of so many parents that have children like this, that, you know, the Safe Connect ID with Greg Alexander and Eric Kibido, like the whole mental health verification net and crisis intervention. There's like 3 different things we're doing. I'm going to be on the board, and I just want to connect y'all because what you're doing is amazing. And I think the operative word here is what you're doing. There's so many people that have thought of this. There's so many people, you know, God doesn't just give these kind of ideas to just one person. He puts this on multiple people's hearts, and everyone that hesitates, that spirit moves to the next person that'll do it. And you were the one that did it, which transitions us into action-oriented goals, which is another, you know, the A in greater. Waterfall Academy, it didn't just appear overnight. I know you said that there was a building you bought, but I want to ask, like, what was the first bold step you took that turned an idea into an actual school? Because, you know, you're one in 50 states, in several countries, right? There may be others, but how do we encourage someone that's been thinking about doing this in another state to take that first bold action?
First one
I
was,
think it was necessity.
yes, thank you, honey. Thank you.
'Cause we-
You know that saying, and you know, there's questions as to who first said it. God knows who said it, but necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
We needed to. Our son was very unhappy where he was, and it was very hard for him.
It was summer.
It was
School
a good
was
school.
going
It
to
was a
start
good school. It was a good school, but it just wasn't for him.
for him.
Not anymore. It's a good school. It still exists. It's a good school. And like, you know, well, summer's starting. Connie called around. Couldn't find anything that we felt comfortable with.
Right.
I happened. Thank you, Lord. To have the building happened. Right. It's like when God hits you over the head, dude. Do you see what we're doing here? What I'm doing to help you? You know, and we just decided to do it. Right.
Well,
Homeschool.
I want to chime in. During this period, you know, we tried it for a year where the school moved to, and it didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work out. So we were looking. I was calling other places, and they wouldn't take them. And I didn't want to do public school. It was not an option. So we go into the building, and it turned out that they had a mascot. There was a mascot of the school where my son was at. And I told my husband, here's our sign. We need to, you know, do something
The
here.
business had the same mascot of where my son was.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's like
Same.
a message, like, here we are. Open your eyes.
More God kisses. I love it.
Yeah.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. Yeah, right. Let's go with
And it was out of necessity because I needed something. And these kids do better through other people than the parents. It's, I mean, if you're trying to work on a problem, some of them do better with someone else than the parents. I guess they see you as a comfort zone. And so that's why I told them, well, I'm going to hire a tutor and they can tutor him because he needs an education and he has every right to get one.
That is so beautiful. So beautiful.
You know, we started it.
You know, that
We
was
had his kindergarten teacher join, you know, us to start with. And that was it. Yeah.
She's the one that started the other school. It turned out it was her. Yes, so she helped us a lot. And every, you know, we would just pray and say, God, take the wheel.
Yes.
And help us.
I love that you said necessity because, you know, the first quote that came to mind and the way I've heard it, because, you don't know who said it first, right? There's no new ideas under the sun. Innovation is born of necessity. And you literally had no other choice. I mean, you had another choice, but did you really?
No,
It wasn't going to happen.
no. What we're going to do, you know. And we took him out of school. People were like, you guys are crazy. Okay, worry about your own issues.
Right.
We got it. We're good. Thanks.
We're in God's hands. We're going to be okay.
That's beautiful.
He's a lot more kind than I was, you know. Oh, yeah. Like, back off. We're doing it.
That's funny.
But she was Yeah.
It sounds like transitioning with purpose, which is the T in Greater. It's, what's the reason behind why you're making this transition? And the question I have for you here, or really it's a statement. Faith played a huge role in this transition from parents to founders. So
Yes.
what did God teach you about timing and trust through that process?
Oof.
No, he's there with you. You're not alone.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, he's with us, and there's a lot of times when you have your doubts. The pain is real, and the pain can overwhelm you, and it can freeze you. And to Connie's point, trusting in the Lord, knowing that He's going to push you to places that you never thought you could go, and but doesn't take away the pain, doesn't take away the fear, But there's that. I think saying it's like when you love someone so much, it gives you courage. And we love our baby so much. We love our God so much. We love each other so much. It gives you courage. And you just go. You just go. I mean,
that is so good.
We just go. And at the school, that's why I say like love drives everything. And she's the biggest proponent of that with everyone. And we just go. Even ironically, when we met with the consultant this week, she acknowledged we're just like, to your point, I love what you said about doing, right? Didn't you just say? You guys are just doing. So we have to like slow down and like codify it more, so that we can go to that next growth, But
yeah,
the base that we built, frankly, she's built, and I've helped her along the way, but she's been the key driver.
And she's so humble. She just keeps looking like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's how she is all the time. But it's my job to be Flavor Flav for her, like I said.
Well, I feel like the main thing is every child deserves an education. Yeah. These schools they run from 27 to 45,000 per year. And this is from August to May. Our tuition is 12. And I'm always looking for ways to save our parents money, because they have to pay for therapies, they have to pay for doctors, they have to pay for supplements, that our money flies out the window. And a lot of times when they see a parent with a child with autism, I tell them they see that dollar sign on our forehead.
Yeah.
Because they'll see like, oh, this person can be my client. Yeah. So that's one thing that I try is to save the money, because I saw a lot of stuff, when my son was in private school, that, everything was about money. And I'm like, our life is so hard that these parents don't need that. If we can make it happen, we pay the mortgage, we pay the electricity, because we barely make enough to cover the employees' salary. Sorry. So, but I always put myself in God's hands. I'm like, okay, we're gonna make salary, because sometimes we're short and we'll get a check in the mail. Because we have families that struggle. We have some that they cut their overtime, they lost their job, and they won't pay for 2 or 3 months. Yeah. And so we have to make it happen, because we got to pay our staff. We have excellent staff, and we don't want to lose them. But then, there's real problems, that we have to sometimes look at. Like we have one that they lost the dad, and right now they're not paying. And I understand that they don't have the money to pay, because they have to put food on the table. And these schools should really be free. No one should be paying for education.
Yeah. And in order to do that, there's so many ideas that just came to mind, because I've learned a lot about business in the last 5 years, from doing user experience design to paying for masterminds. You talked about these schools are typically $45,000 a year.
Yes.
I invested about as much, maybe a little more, for just coaching from a really good business coach who teaches business based on biblical principles. And the the ideas he gave me in just a year of working with him, the first thing that came to mind is actually a great segue to the next letter in the greater framework. Like, if we want to be great, we can stop there, but we want to be greater, right? We're all striving to be greater. And greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Empowering your network. So you've realized probably through the time of doing what you've been doing that nothing is done alone. Like, everything is done in community. It says it in the Bible, it is not good for man to be alone. There are companies that have to pay so much money in taxes. Like, if they make $1 million, 300,000 is already going to taxes. They would rather put that anywhere else but into taxes. If you can partner with companies that are looking to save on tax dollars and donate to that school, there are so many companies that need it, and they would rather have a tax write-off knowing they're doing something good than to just give them money. And I've worked for the government to put into projects that aren't going anywhere, or to spend money because they're going to lose it. If they're going to already spend that money and they need to spend it somewhere that is going to make a difference, Waterfall Academy or anybody supporting people with mental issues should be the place that they put that money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to talk offline about that, because I want to strategize about that one.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Absolutely. And then, speaking of empowering your network, and you may have answered this, but you're not just leading students, you're empowering families, teachers, your community. Like, this is a group effort and everyone wins in the end. How do you create an environment where everyone feels seen and supported? Because you talked about it, you touched on it, but I think that is amazing. And I think it's something that should be implemented in the whole world. But you mentioned it was interior design. You're just good at finding what places to put where things fit.
Yes. I'll let you do it.
Y'all were, this is why you've been together. What did you say, 20, 30 years?
Yeah, 30 years. 30 years married.
It's who can serve who.
See, this whole empowering our network, we've had good friends that have supported us, even from getting us the first guitars that kids played to, and we only had 2 kids. And so to helping us with donations, to helping us with time, to painting for us, to upgrading things on the inside. In terms of empowering families, and Connie, please chime in after I stop for a little bit. But like, I think more than anything, step back. I call our place an oasis. And these families, they're dealing with a desert known as working through autism. And so we're a place where families can come, kids can come and feel fed, feel nurtured, be re-energized, be inspired with hope of that it's going to get better. That saying in the Bible, like, there's a reason for every season, and this is just a season. And the reason is that we're going to get better because of it. And our kids are going to be okay. And Connie says it all the time. And see, like, I quote her. She thinks I don't, 30 years, she thinks I don't listen to her sometimes, but I do listen to what she said, but like she says, somebody's got to believe in our kids. We have to.
We don't.
We don't. Who's gonna, And so that's the empowerment. Like, it's okay to be vulnerable as a parent. I mean, she's had more than one parent break down to her. And it's not like, Gregory, it's not that breaking down of fear. When you cry and you're afraid. It's a crying from relief that they're here. They finally are here. Yesterday I was, I get there sometimes when the kids are getting dropped off or picked up or whatever. And I met the father of a young man. And I never met him before. He just started, this is what?
Last year.
Yeah, last year. And anyway, and I just said, "Hey, sir, thank you for sharing your baby with us." And I thought that was it, right?
Mm.
And this guy, who obviously is not a big talker per se, more quiet, says, "Thank you for opening up this school."
Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
like we just did it, you know. But it's reminders like that to say we're giving these families hope.
Because we have children that come to us that they're fragile. They've been through a lot. We have one that he had been home for 3 years. He wouldn't leave the house. And so for him to be able to leave the house and come to school, that's like a big thing.
Yeah.
And the only thing we do, we respect these kids. And we treat them like everyone else. And that's all they want, respect.
Yeah, it's just, it's just, you're not just the special needs kid or autistic kid. You're just a kid.
Yeah, because we don't label. We don't
label.
Yeah.
We've had kids
God made us all different for a reason.
Amen.
And that's why,
Amen.
We got to respect everyone.
Yeah. I mean, they've all had their path, and we want to help them. Some kids were, bullied incessantly. Tell him a little story about the young man that was with us yesterday visiting, what one of the kids said to him. This place doesn't allow bullying and no intimidation. They use all these big words like, wait a minute, there's no bullying here. And we're like, she's not in the discussion, but in the periphery of it. And one kid is telling another kid, you like it here. They don't bully here. There's no intimidation here. Like, wow.
Well, some have been through a lot. They're very sensitive.
From the mouth of babes, right?
Right. That is so cool.
Yeah, man.
Whew, this is heavy, like in a good way. Like I imagine there are some moms, dads, relatives of people that could use this, that are listening, and they're just like, wow, where have y'all been my whole life? And the last R in the greater framework is resilience in the face of setbacks. There had to be days where you wanted to quit. What's one moment that tested your resolve the most, and how did you find the strength to keep showing up?
I still have that. I wake up every morning thinking of my students that are more severe, and I tell myself, if we're not there, where are they going to go? There's other places that would take them for the money, but they'll sit them in the corner with an iPad all day. And at our school, they have, they learn in their level, but they all do math and they all read in their level because they come so we can educate them. Yeah. And that's why we customize each child's curriculum, because they all learn in different ways. Yeah. And it's okay. It doesn't say that you got to learn a certain way.
That's a good way to put that, honey, because they if the three of us were students, we each would have our own curriculum. We might be in the same class because, as you mentioned earlier, our personalities mix.
Yeah.
But you would move at your pace, I'd move at mine, Connie would move at hers. And the teachers, they're so skillful. These teachers and teachers' aides are amazing. They make sure that we're all learning at our own pace and we're all being assessed right. So she's right. I mean, for me, my resilience moment is, wow, can we, because early on, can we afford it? Can we do this? Can we do this? And God always provided. Every time we were down, He provided. I needed a new job. I got a new job. Bang. Wow, it's paying me more money. We can do this. We can do this. We got people that she did an art show at the Goldmark Community Center. We thought, they won't take us. Boom, they take us, and we had 100 people show up on the first day of our exhibit. Again, she's too humble. We thought, well, you know what? Maybe we'll check in with the Texas State Fair. Okay, we were Waterfall Academy, and its art was highlighted as a specific exhibit at the Texas State Fair. Placards up, their art's up. We had people buying art that the kids made at the Texas State Fair. Wow. In fact, tonight I have to deliver 3 paintings to somebody's house, but it's that. So it's like resilience it's less for us about, did we doubt we were going to do it? Have we ever thought we're going to, where obstacles insurmountable? I can't say we've ever had that, because we already have the obstacle. Our kids, We're not going to wave a magic wand and be like, you're going to be better. If I could, I would die right now. If my kid was going to be okay, or if I could say, many times I've prayed and said, God, give it to me. You know,
wow.
So what else? We're playing with house money now. Right?
That's what happens when you lean on the Lord, right?
Man, we're good. He's got us. We'll be all right. She reminds me of that all the time. You know, when I get a little, she'll be like, God's got us. God's in control. Relax.
Okay. God's hands. And it always works out even better.
Man, y'all are healing me right now, whether you realize it or not. I know if I'm getting healed from this is like a therapy session, then the listener is definitely being healed from this. Because if you can do what you've done, and it can impact so many families, and God takes care of you.
Thank you.
Why wouldn't he not do it for the rest of us?
Yeah, he will. He will.
Just gotta believe.
Just gotta believe.
And leave it in God's hands.
You gotta drive. There's this in Spanish. There's saying, "Si Dios quiere," and I've told people that in Spanish it means if it's God's will, right? But I tell people, Dios si quiere. God always wills good for you. It's what are you gonna do? Right. So it's God's will plus action is the key.
Because faith without works is dead.
Boom. Exactly.
Man. So now that you've heard, this is so beautiful. Now that you've heard what my definition of greater is and how I've pieced what being greater is, what would you say like your definition of greater is?
Gosh. Our definition of greater is just as you've laid it out. We've been aligned. I think for us is make sure we stay aligned. So she and I are aligned, our teachers are aligned, our parents are aligned, that we hold ourselves accountable to each other, and we're accountable even for things we're not responsible for. You see, like we're not necessarily responsible for someone being autistic or a kid having an issue, but we're accountable for their progress. You see what I'm saying? We're accountable for that. Okay. Wow. And then we're focused on sustainable solutions, not just for now, but to Connie's point. And again, I have another hype man moment for her, but she always says a lot to the parents, like, we got to get them ready for when you're not here. It's a sustainable solution, i.e. worship is amazing. Yes, the singing is incredible, but there's ways to apply that in other venues. To her comment, you can go to a movie, they go to an event. We have a young man, I'll tell you right now, he's got concerns or he's got some challenges. He's working through them. But I bet you and I could look up 25 years from now and he's running something big. And he's running it because we were able to provide a solution for him to regulate his behavior and his feelings. And he works a workaround that he becomes a master at. That's a sustainable solution. And then for us, greater is really like your life is your legacy, You know what I mean? Like what you leave that's your legacy. So for us, as part of our life legacy, we would love for Waterfall to be. We could be in every state. We could be all over the world. We've talked to people in the Philippines. We've talked to people in Mexico. And we're like, well, Lord, if you're gonna take us there, let's go. So it's living your life as if it's a legacy you're gonna leave behind. Like, it's gonna preempt you. It's gonna be arrive before you, and it's gonna be here after you're gone. That's it, man. That's it.
That's so beautiful. Wow. So greater is accountability, even if it wasn't something you caused.
Yeah.
Leaving a legacy.
Yes, sir.
I heard being of service in a nutshell.
Yes.
And sustainable solutions.
Yes, sir. And moving forward as one. That's one of our core values is we're one, as one family. We're together. We may have different paths, but we walk together. Yeah. So.
That is so beautiful. I know people are looking up Waterfall Academy right now and reaching out. When you look at the kids and the families you serve now, and this is my last question for you, this has been so beautiful. This is going to be one of the, I say this every episode, and people are just going to think I'm like Apple, where it's like, oh, this is the best iPhone we've ever created. Of course it is, right? You get better with time. But when you look at the kids and families you serve now, what does it mean to you to see beauty flowing from what once felt like brokenness?
Well, I just love seeing the students. We have students that come in taking maybe 13 medications, and to see them off the medications. I just had a call 2 days ago with a new student that just started, and her psychologist couldn't believe how much her patient has changed. So she wants to go see what we're about. She wants to see our school because she wants to know, how could this happen? I've had this child for many years, and just in these couple of weeks, she's a different person. She's happy. She's not depressed anymore. So just seeing that makes us feel like we've done our job.
We had another kiddo that they wanted to institutionalize.
Yes.
Because she was beating people up in school. That's brokenness. In the eyes of society, that's brokenness.
Yes.
They got to go put away. Well, the team, her, and the love that we have, they were messing with her at school. They were making fun of her. Mm-hmm. They were picking on her. They were pulling her hair. So I don't know about you, but whether you're neurotypical or not, if you mess with me like that, we get down, And so, and here at this school, we haven't had one issue, not one issue at all. And she's just loving, and she's growing, and she's learning, and she's learned how to read, and she did all kinds of things that weren't happening in mainstream school.
Right.
Because she got labeled. So that brokenness is the label. Remove the label and apply the love and apply the focus and apply a leader.
Respect.
You're good. It's like, why we use Waterfall, right? I think I've never told you that.
No, I'm very curious because I was like, Waterfall. Is it because of the tears that flow from like the joy that comes from this? Or?
Well, it's close, but sort of. But so we're on a street called Waterfall Way. Right? So we use Waterfall.
Another sign of God.
Waterfall Way, right? Another sign of God. Okay? A sign of God. And we talked about water. She and I have always talked about water, how important it is. Before this happened, one of the things that she would give God thanks for is water. Okay? Before any of this happened, in her morning prayer, she said, thank you for water. Because water sustains us, right? Think about it. What stops water, Gregory? What stops it? There's nothing. It evaporates. It's going up to the sky. It's coming back down. It freezes. It melts. Boom. It freezes. It's never going away. Even a frozen water molecule is moving at some point. You see, nothing stops water. What can cut through anything? Concentrated water. And so that's what we tell our kids. Like, you can do anything. That's why the kids, they give themselves the name the Warriors. They're the Waterfall Warriors. And that's their name. And they come forward. So that, you see, the brokenness to being empowered is even in our name, because nothing can stop water. Not to mention the imagery of waterfalls is soothing and beautiful, and captures, and water can erode anything, that kind of thing. So that messaging of the power that we have inside of us is even in our name.
And water is greater in mass, like more water, better, right? The waterfall is, a waterfall will knock anything out of its way. And we're talking about those labels, the brokenness, the, whatever label you put on it, you're crashing down and eroding it with love. And it's a flow. Water has to flow. It can't be stagnant. That's why the Dead Sea is the Dead Sea, because there's no outlets. It's only inlet.
So you just gave me a good nugget. That water has to flow. That's a good one. That's a good one. Got to flow. Got to move. Constant. Move it. Yeah.
Look at God. And the way we met, listen, if I didn't go to a Veggie Outers meetup and meet Monica, and then have a conversation with Monica that made her think of who could be on this podcast. We wouldn't even be speaking.
Yes.
And I'm not even vegan. I just went to the veggie hours to support a friend, right?
Go. Yeah.
Look, man, I just love watching the way God works in people's lives. And I think that's the joy of this podcast, is hearing other people's stories of transformation remind me of why I'm on my journey, and that God is working in everyone's life. And he is making things happen that nobody could ever take credit for, because there's no way we can ever say, look what I did, right?
Right.
Y'all have had faith on this walk. You're not only empowering the students, but families. You're thinking sustainable solutions beyond you. So when you're gone, this thing can scale. But why don't we help you make it scale while you're still here, so you can at least see it before you leave? Because what you're doing is too good to not be shared with more people in more states and more cities. And I would love to do anything I can in my power to connect you to the right people that can make this happen.
Let's do it. Come see it.
So good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you said you're in Parker. Where's this school at?
Richardson.
Okay. I'm always in Plano, Richardson.
Oh, come on, man.
I was actually out in Frisco last night and the night before.
Yeah.
I run a nonprofit out there called M3 Plus. We do mutual mentoring for neurodivergent designers and people that want to break into the tech field through UX design, product managers, engineers. We take the senior developers and designers, and we put them with the juniors and the people that are just breaking in. And what happens is we put them at a table to play together. And the seniors realize the juniors have a lot of value to offer. And the juniors realize the seniors still don't know what they're doing, right? And that melts this tension, and people end up making connections that get them jobs, that get them into a career that they never thought they could be in. So,
well, that's what we're going to talk. I mean, that's an ecosystem right there, right?
Look, God's people build ecosystems.
Amen.
Man, this has been incredible. I'm gonna take us out here. Is there any last words? Where can they find you? How would you like them to reach out to you?
Boy, we're at www.waterfallacademy.com, and the number is 469-207-8439.
Okay.
And you can just call that.
We're on Facebook,
And
Instagram.
we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Our email is info@waterfallacademy.com. info at waterfallacademy.com. You'll find us. I mean, she does a great job on the Insta and on the gram, whatever they call it now, and Facebook. And people find us, right? We do very little.
But that's our marketing tool, because we don't have money to pay to market, so we use social media, and
word of mouth.
they mainly they hear about us through therapists or other families or social media, because we'll rather use that money to pay the staff than to pay $800 to run a one-day event.
And giving these kids what all kids get, like we talked about earlier, but the kids are doing a prom this year. We did one 2 years ago, and K104 was our sponsor, and they came in and they DJ'd, and the kids were on the air and all that stuff. So it's like, we want to give these kids the opportunities other kids get that are so-called mainstream. We give them, they deserve that. And again,
just smaller, and where they can enjoy themselves and have fun too, and have a prom like we had. Just a little smaller.
Come to our prom.
That is so cool, man. Like this, I'm so grateful I met y'all. Like this is healing me on the inside, and like I want to talk offline for a minute after we end this. But man, thank you guys for tuning in, for listening. I hope that you were inspired. I know that if you were not, there's nothing we can do. let's just be real. If this didn't inspire you to share it with someone that could use this, or let you know that anything's possible, I don't know what's happening. I mean, you need more than help, but I know it did. Thank y'all for coming on. We'll talk offline.
Thank you for having
Until the
us.
next, yeah, thank you. Until the next episode, be bold and courageous. Do everything that you do with passion. I promise you will have a life that you love. We will see you in the next episode. Now go be greater. So good.